Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's the 14th of November, 2023, 12:08 p.m. I'm not long out of bed. I got up about 11:30 and I've had a rough couple of days. I got inspired and innovated and excited about a new friendship I made, and yeah, got a little bit too excited. So and I'm very conscious of the energetic, spiritual, kind of quite intense merging already happening, and attempts at domination already, which I do not like. So I'm withholding my energy for now, and we'll just see how this new friendship develops, if at all. May have already gone walkabout, as they do, these people that come into my life and just as quickly walk out of my life, because when they find that I can't, that I suffer no falls, and that I don't like being controlled, they very quickly freak out. It's the problem with masculine energy when it meets my internalized, self-protective guardian spirits, my wolf and my angel, which I don't call upon lightly, and haven't had cause to, thankfully. But I'm well aware that I come with very heavy protection that can be quite frightening to the average person. And this person I really quite seem to like. I don't know why. I only met him once. We met up finally on the 9th of November, and we chatted for an hour and a half, and it was quite pleasant. So I saw potential for a nice evolving friendship, potential romance, and maybe that's my mistake, misaligning other people's intentions, right? But when men get a bit frisky with me, it's only natural that I assume that they've got other things in mind for me. And for the first time in many years, I actually considered it, that it might be nice to open up to my sexual beingness, isness again. And that came with great trepidation and fear, because of my history with sexual relationships have by and large always been cruel, sadistic, shallow, and life-threatening for me. And when I arc up and go into self-protective mode, the former love interests head for the hills very quickly, which is a good thing, since they didn't have my highest good and had no intention of a long-term relationship with me, or of anything with any mark of honour. So I've been processing it. Yesterday I was very ill, actually, in bed most of the day, and this fierce, and I know it's spiritual, and it's also my body fighting to heal herself from this last COVID attack, and this kind of unexpected attention from a man who claims to be spiritual, has sort of come in a form of a kind of not maliciously, I don't think his intention was malicious, but it's my body has reacted to it as if I am under attack, because my body knows what happens when I invite a man into it. So there is that. And I've been trying to be very circumspect and calm and manage it, because my body has her own consciousness, has kept me alive often against my own mental will. So I have to reintegrate and recalibrate my meridians. I have to remind my body that she is a powerful entity of her own prowess, literally fought off COVID by ourselves without any medical intervention. Mind you, it wasn't a serious illness. I've had worse flus in my day. But the spiritual energy that came with that COVID infestation was alarming and powerful. And the spiritual energy that came in with this love interest, friendship, has also been a tad alarming and powerful. And I'll tell you why. Very early on the piece, I could sense him tapping into my energy. And then when I asked him, I said, why are you tapping my energy? He more or less admitted that he's a spiritual healer, which makes sense. And I said, I do not invite, intrusions into my auric field, into my spiritual energy without consent. It's actually a spiritual violation. It is a violation of the spirit. When you go to your doctor and you tell them, I'm not feeling well and I need drugs for this, or I need you to fix my broken arm, you are giving consent to another spirit that you deem to be in some value of authority over you. You are giving them consent to heal you, right? And you're trusting that they will do it in an honourable, respectful way, not like some skin doctors I had in the past that were violating and creepy, or, the anaesthetist at the PA that was sliding his hand down his thigh in an evocative sexual way, asking me, what do you do? Like, inferring that I'm some scrubby, dirty whore. It was disgusting how I was treated. So I do not empower any man, woman or child, even if they are higher status than me and in a position of authority by virtue of the fact they might be a policeman or, don't get me started on Queensland policing though, inadequate and inept and vicious beyond belief they were when myself and my children were in mortal danger. And I don't give authority to doctors unless it's absolutely necessary for my survival, right? Like when I gave my body, ceded over my body quite willingly to save me from the gall attacks I was having on a regular basis. And, when I handed my body over on a plate for the colonoscopies that became more and more abusive each time. So no. Even for my survival on this planet, I withhold any authority over my body now, meaning quite literally that I will die rather than have any interference that is ignoble, harmful, dishonouring, disrespectful. And this, of course, applies to any potential sexual relationships too. If a man is trying to dominate and control my spirit already so early in the piece, then that's a red flag for how things will go down the track and signs of potential danger. That's just how I perceive it. But he seems to be, on the surface, a lovely man and has his own issues, as we all do. So I'm leaving it be for now. I'm leaving it be. I'm letting people be who they are and find their way on this planet. People come to me instinctively because they admire my strength, my mana, my spiritual mana. And they forget that I am also a woman hoping to find true love. And in that is a deep vulnerability and a chasm that opens in my psyche, the equivalent to falling off a cliff into an abyss that I struggle to scramble out of for a few days because it's been that dangerous for me. And if a man that desires a connection with me can't understand that I might flip out in the early stages, when things are a bit surprising and unexpected, then he's not the man for me, unfortunately. But as I say in all my videos, there may never be a man for me. There was too much damage done to my psyche, my body, my spirit, over the decades. And, I took a long break. I took a long break from even hoping to find a love partner. I waited literally 8 years. So I was hoping that I was ready to begin something lovely, and I think on some level I am ready, because I was willing. I was willing to give it a try. I even met up with this gentleman. And now the cute thing about it was he looks has Russian background, and we had the same cheekbones, right? I looked at him and I said, "Oh, you're definitely Russian." So he's a sweetie. But he's probably also keeping his options open, as men do. And he's met me now, and so the fetishizing and the fantasizing about this strange woman on the internet, the curiosity has been met, and there's once seen, never forgotten. But as I said to him, he had an unfair advantage over me, because he has all my truth speaking and prophesizing and philosophizing, and sees my actual facial features and emotions played out on the internet. And that puts me in a vulnerable position when someone comes from that echelon, because I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're lying to me. They might actually still be married. They might actually be living with a woman. They might be a polyamorous, like the last few men that tried to enter my life 8 years ago. They might be a sadist. They might be a psychopath. They might be, they might, and they might not. But, may the odds be forever in your favour, as they say in some stupid Hunger Games movie. And I don't want to be in a Hunger Game. But on the other hand, this guy says he likes fat women and wants me to get fatter, which is cute and endearing, but I don't want to get fatter either. I'm trying to maintain my weight at a certain warrior goddess level. Enough padding and armouring so I can shoulder some lout that tries to jump me, or so that I can have the stamina and strength to dance for 5 hours. I'm only up to 3 hours at the moment because I've not been well. And so that I can be self-protective. But I certainly don't want to get any fatter. And if he truly is interested in me and thinks he loves me, has some fantasy that he loves me, then he'll have to love me if I get beautiful and slim and healthy again, because that's kind of my goal. I mean, I don't expect to ever get slim because I like food too much. But, if I get really healthy and fully activate all my mind, body and spirit, and trim down, to a certain degree, and he's only interested in hugely obese, diseased, half-dead women, it's never going to work, is it? So there is that. It's crossed my mind. The parameters. Because I already set parameters around me, future thinking a little bit. What if this scenario happens? How will that work? And if that scenario, and you know what? It's ridiculous. I only met the guy for an hour and a half. It wasn't anything romantic. I made sure of that. Kept it very pleasant and quiet, and so I am ready. I got my hopes up, and I am ready for love for the first time in many years. And do you know, even though the sky's already drifting, as they do when they, when they have whatever agendas they have, I don't know what's happening with that. But anyway, but I feel contented. I'm grateful he came into my life, however briefly, actually met up with me to prove to me he wasn't a catfisher or some spotty boy in an internet cafe, or even a woman pretending to be a man, because you get some weirdos on the internet. So he proved to me that he's a real person with heartfelt intentions. You know, he did demonstrate that. So I'm grateful for that, because my anxiety was starting to spin out of freaking control, because I've got to keep myself safe. And I've got to have, I want a beautiful life for myself. I want a beautiful man in my life that has my front and my back and is proud and happy to have me on his arm, stand with me by my side, and chooses me over and above all other women and men, if he's gay, bisexual, whatever, you know. I want to be chosen this time, not have to accept the scraps from some other woman's table, be degraded and demeaned by a man that can't keep his penis in his pants and is just out to abuse and use and be sadistic and harmful. I had that 8 years ago, you know. I had it over and over and over again over the decades. So I'm done with that. That's not what I want for myself, you know. Understandably so. I'm content on my own. I've lived alone for 29 years, and there were times when it was very, very fucking scary, especially in recent months with my daughter, you know, my daughter drifting too. I'm fully conscious that when I make these videos for YouTube, for all the world to see, that many of you must look at me and think, oh, she's a loser, she's a freak, she's got no family, she's got no lover, no partner, she's got no support networks, she's just this pathetic old lady on the internet whining, right? I'm conscious of that. That's how that is my reality on one level, the superficial reality. But the truth is, although I am alienated and isolated and marginalised, a lot of it is by choice. I would rather be alone than live or share my bed with yet another monster. And monsters don't come into your life straight away as monsters. That's how they lure you in, right? They come in and they're charming and they're sweet and they praise you and they tell you that you're beautiful and sexy and desirable, and, you know, they tease you about you shaking your ass even though you haven't actually shaked your ass for them at all. It's just an emoji on the internet. It means nothing. It's just... But you see, this man was very spiritual. He could tap into my energy. I had to tell him to stop it, because it's not okay. So he's tested my energy and I have tested his. So I know he's the real deal. Energetically, he's a perfect match for me, you know. But he doesn't want to be an equal match. He wants to own and control and have me under his thumb, because he thinks, like all men do, you know, that you know, he somehow has a need to be superior. That won't work. That won't work with me. I accept no higher authority over me than God. I've always been that way. Always. Since very early in childhood, when I realised that the adults in my life were debauched and evil and perverted and disgusting, and verily were just vicious little children trapped in adult bodies and incapable of honour or decency towards this little spirit in my little girl body that should have remained pristine until I gained adulthood and my own naturally unfolding sexuality. So sometimes I am a little bit, I guess, regressed or immature when a man comes in and he's all sails blazing, all guns gung-ho, passionate, enthusiastic, eager. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And to be honest, I haven't had that before. This one has been an anomaly because he was consistent for a few weeks, coming back at me, making contact. I noticed he didn't like it when I started to initiate contact back because he wants to maintain control, you see. He didn't like it when I questioned him on his intentions, which I have every right to do. So, but these are like just small little things that, when you make a new friendship with a man that you know wants to have a sexual partnership, you have to iron out these small little things. Relationships don't happen instantly. People forget that. We're so used to living in the hookup culture where you go to a pub or a club and you go, want to fuck, and the woman, if she's amenable to it, might go, oh yeah, let's go. And you go home and you fuck like wild beasts, all sweaty and grunty and lascivious and wild. And then they walk out the door, you never see them again, you're treated like shit, right? That's not how you have a relationship, okay? That's just a primal body function. You might as well have had a decent almighty shit in the toilet than bother with half of these entities that you hook up with in the club, pub, scene, culture, or wherever you go, your gym or your sporting field, wherever you go to meet people. Men that just want to hump you straight away they've got no interest in you as a person. Trust me on that one. I learnt that the hard way over the years, many years ago, when I was a little bit more activated than I am now. And I'm grateful for being an older woman and the wisdom that came with that. The years of heartache and trauma and self-imposed celibacy and asexual has taught me well. Don't be fooled by an attractive male face and, a demeanour, an attitude. Don't be fooled by that. Half the time it's all illusion anyway. And they cut and run at the first sign of resistance. Vive la résistance, mon cher. The Tanya is by definition defiant and resistant, even though she's a bit fucking irresistible, babies. So, 23 minutes talking about some man that's come and gone out of my world, at least without the sexual complications, which I'm proud of myself, that I was intelligent enough to think, well, let's just see what this one wants to do, what his intentions are, and what he's about. So, I think he got a little bit piqued that after we had such a lovely meeting on the 9th, on Thursday, that I still went dancing, but I'm not his girlfriend. He hasn't dated, he's met me once. He hasn't actually offered to date me and take me out anywhere, so he's not genuine. And anyway, at any rate, I am not going to give up my dancing for anyone. That is my exercise once a week, my wildness, my spirit, and it's actually my work too. My spiritual shamanic work. There are energy transfers that are non-sexual, because I'm not going there. But there are energy transfers when I'm in my zone, in my trance state, that are quite potent and powerful, that souls are actually in dire need of that level of healing. And by the way, it heals me too when I'm in that zone. And I'm well known after 13 years of dancing, All my friends in the band, they know I reached that peak in the zone, and they know that it's fucking sacred and not to be messed with. That's why I don't like it when I had a female friend at the casino who was actually demonstrated over time to be malicious and backstabbing and actually, envious of me. She used to come up behind me when I was mid-mosh in my zone, in my full trance, and grab me. Very dangerous thing to do to a person who's in the altered state, in the trance state. You don't grab anyone. So I've digressed. I'm sorry. My dance is my life affirming defiance against our society, against our entire world, and it's for my health too, to keep my body reasonably fit, because I am overweight and I do like to eat. So I need to have that balance, that once a week I go out and I dance and dance and dance and dance and dance, and then I return to my usual semi-catatonic state of exhaustion. And I have to do that. I have to maintain that, because that's my self-expression of my spirit, and for my bodily, for the exercise, for my health. And a man that truly loves me won't be envious or jealous of me. I'm not a polyamorist. I do flirt just for fun when I'm out dancing. I have a little bit of a flirt occasionally. But, I don't go home with anyone, haven't for many years. I haven't met a man that's piqued my interest in many, many years. And if I do, I'm an independent, free spirit, wild woman, and it's my business if I went home and fucked someone. But if I'm in love with someone and in a relationship with them, a committed relationship, where I can trust them to be decent and loyal to me when they're out too with their friends and their, women around them, because it goes both ways, I'm not looking to be cheating on anyone. So, but anyway, I haven't cheated on anyone. I haven't even begun a proper relationship, because this has just been a forward expression of from the gods showing me that, the right man is coming. And this person showing interest was it was astonishing. But it's kind of a message to me that, yes, someone is coming and you are ready. We just got to tweak your timelines a little bit, Tanya, and we've got to soothe some of your PTSD, anxiety, and and phobias and fears that you're going to draw in yet another monster. And they're not irrational phobias given my history. So I have to ride that wave, and I have to develop trust in myself that I have the intuition and the guts and the glory to recognise early in the piece when I'm being played. I have to trust in that. Otherwise, there's no point in me being in a sexual relationship with anyone if I can't trust my own self to know when things are starting to unravel or go a little bit awry. If I can't trust myself, how the fuck can I trust someone else? So I trust myself to the degree that I know how powerful I am now. Yesterday was the 13th. I was very unwell yesterday. I hadn't slept all night before. I can't remember why I wasn't sleeping the previous night, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I had 2 nights in the past week where I didn't sleep. And I'm fiercely soul innovated, right? So yesterday I lay in my bed most of the day, feeling really, really weak and dizzy, and a little bit disappointed about my failure to find true, deep, loyal, faithful, honouring love, right? Um, I'm going to have to learn to get comfortable with that disappointment, because nothing has changed in 58 and a half years. I don't even know why. I must be vulnerable from recent months of ill health and losing Beauregard. I must have leaks in my auric field to even allow someone to approach me in the way he did, and allow that energy into my life as if it were real and intentional and authentic. I must be weak. I must be weakened. So I'll have to sit with that I allowed that energy transfer to happen without the sex. And that I got seduced and fell into the allure of the idea, just the idea, that someone might actually want me this time, more for me. I'll be increasing my. I'll have to put my walls back up, won't I? So yesterday I lay in bed feeling quite unwell, and I've been unwell for months, but I'm still also recovering from the COVID infestation. And it's very interesting that this man started contacting me, messaging me on the 21st, which was the day that I would have come down with the COVID. I would have caught it the previous night from someone in the club, presumably someone in the club. No one knows, because we're all symptomatic. I didn't know I had it for 4 days. So he came in, it was just prior to Halloween. He came in on the 21st when I'm struggling with my health going into decline. And so that too is spiritual. And I'll explain something about that. Not that I owe any explanations to anyone, but I'm just documenting it because I find it interesting from a spiritual perspective. This death cult, this death energy that he came in on, as I was actually quite fearful, reasonably, fearful that I was about to die. So what else is new? My health's been precarious all my life, so I do get like that. But the COVID was a very real threat to my body autonomy, right? So he comes in messaging me, quite lovely, you know. And then Halloween came, and my friend Lynn brought me this statue of death that I had parked out in the front lawn, because by then I knew I had COVID. So anyway, I could just see the irony of it, you know. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to have Halloween, because I thought I might still be COVID positive. But fortunately, I was cleared of it by Halloween, by the 30th actually. So I had, and even he joked to me, this man, he said, "Oh, you've got death parked out in your front lawn, you know." Well, sweetness, honey pie, sugar baby, death sits on my shoulder every fucking day of my life since birth, right? So death and I are old buddies and pals, and we don't always see eye to eye, and I flick him off back into behind the curtain, but he's been hanging around quite intimately with me lately, which is a concern. It is a concern. So but the death cult thing has, I'm very conscious of that death cultish energy around me, that even this man was drawn in on, just through no fault of his own, just as I was getting sick with COVID, right? And the spirits have been very active, including the evil spirit that I had a relationship with many years ago. So that was confronting and brought things to a conflict situation early in our interactions. And then I went to the Holocaust Museum, and so 2 days ago, and that also, again, seeped in death and the underworld and horror and trauma, reactivated me quite fiercely. So, and I'm used to riding. I'm used to riding that scene. You know, like I'm a child of, well, not his biological child, but I was raised by a Holocaust survivor from the age of 9. A Holocaust surviving stepfather who was sexually predating on me regularly, by the way. Not actual raping, but threats of rape and, you know, harassment and vileness beyond belief. So, you know, that has created a lot of damage to my mind, body and spirit also. So, but I am a daughter of a Holocaust survivor and my mother who survived the Nazi regime on the other side of that war, in World War II. So I carry a lot of psychic damage from that too. So I'm used to being immersed in death and death consciousness, not just from my own health issues since early childhood and attacks on my life in my young adulthood as a young woman in my 30s and 40s, but you know, well, I'm a shaman. This is the path of the shaman, you know, working with the spirits, working with death. It's part of the walk. And yes, it's utterly fucking terrifying to the uninitiated and to those that have normal, sweet, safe, happy lives, which were not the cards that were gifted me by the gods. So I don't expect anyone to understand or comprehend it, because I struggle with it still to this day. Even after, 25 years of therapy. 25 years I've been in therapy, people. I still struggle with it. It wasn't fair what happened to me as a young child. It wasn't. None of it was fair. It wasn't fair the background I've come from. It wasn't fair how I was treated when I arrived in Brisbane in 1989 and falsely accused of being a Nazi for 2 years, and my reputation still to this day. I'm still othered, treated with utmost suspicion and contempt, It wasn't fair. I didn't deserve that. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew by choice because I converted. But I know, I can't prove it to anyone, but I know my neshama was always Jewish, because as a little girl, 6 years old, I knew, going to Christian church, Lutheran church, I knew I wasn't a Christian. I didn't agree with the dogma and the ideology that the only way into the kingdom of heaven was through Jesus. I knew that was evil and wrong. I knew that at 6 years of age. So I was always a Jew. I just, at that age, at 6 years old, apart from the wonderful stories of the Old Testament, I didn't know what it was, what it meant, what it is to be a Jew. I only had the beautiful biblical stories, which I loved more than the Jesus parables and all that stuff. I knew. So people see this German, Slavic, Viking spirit, which I do have my Viking spirit too, that has kept me alive in recent years. There's a reason why the gods gift me certain attributes in certain dangerous times like we are living through now. There's no accidents in the multiverses. Your ancestors on all sides of your family line, Jewish, Viking, if you're Asian, it'll be your Asian ancestry. If you're African, it'll be your African. Wherever you come from on earth, When your ancestors start tweaking your spirit and guiding and protecting you and bringing you to the full glory of your beingness and your own body, mind and spirit, don't ever, ever doubt or underestimate or second guess it. You know, they are there for a reason. If you build a relationship with your ancestors that love you, I say the ancestors that love you because my progenitors were pedophiles and pedophile enablers and con artists and robbed me of not just my life force, but of homes and businesses and money and stability. Robbed me. My own mother, my German mother, who in her own right was wealthy, robbed me out of sheer utter spite and envy. So I don't honour those ancestors. I never ever want to be incarnated with them again for the rest of eternity. But I don't have that say. I'm not God. I'm not in charge of that. But I pray daily that I never see those bastards ever again, ever, for the rest of eternity. And I'm looking for my soul group. I'm looking for my tribe. I'm looking for my people. I've been looking for them all my life. You know, my fellow Jews who embraced me with such love and acceptance in Wellington, New Zealand. They were my tribe. They were beautiful to me. And they accepted my German mother. Even though the majority of that shul was still Holocaust survivors, they did not judge my mother. They understood. They understood what it was like to live in Germany, in Nazi Germany. You know, the constant bombings and the culture of parenthood in those days, you were beaten every freaking day of your life. You were beaten when you went to school if you didn't obey. You were beaten when you went home. They saw my mother's trauma and they treated her with honour and integrity and respect because she had a Jewish daughter and Jewish granddaughters. But I came here to a cesspit of seething evil, which to my 23-year-old mind with my young babies came to me as a great shock. But I had good people defend and protect me too, like my Rabbi Ori Tamal, OAM, who now resides in Israel. And not my own personal rabbi because I wasn't a member of his congregation, but I had the love and support. Love, agape love. Don't twist my words, people. I had the love and support of Rabbi Jaffe as well. So, the evil ones that are still at guns and machas in our community and think they're so important and so holier than thou. I know the quality and the calibre of your spirit. I know who you are and what you did to me and my babies. The cascades of trauma you caused me for decades. But I don't hate you because we are Jews. We as Jews live in a society that is rancid with evil. And we need each other. But the evil ones that besmirched my good name and my reputation for decades, even in the 20th of February 2020, humiliating me about my shoes and my legs and my feet, degrading me as a woman like I was some scrabby little whore. As they say in Aussie vernacular, don't come the raw prawn with me, boy chick. I know exactly what kind of man you are. So it is what it is. Nothing will change. I've never received an apology. I have never been treated with real actual decency. And I'm well aware of that. Well aware of it. It took 3 rabbis in 1991 to clear my reputation, only to find out a few short years later when that shul I belonged to sabotaged, there's that word again, sabotaged my daughter's bat mitzvah, tried to cancel it. My rabbi had to go in and fight for me, yet again. And I admit, he must be very disappointed that I drifted away from Judaism in the last decade or so, after the fight he had to put up for me for many years. But it doesn't mean, my beloved Ori, that I stopped being a Jew in my heart and soul. I have not dishonoured your hard work or God's guidance or intentions. I've merely lived as a woman in poverty and in trauma, struggling to keep myself safe and free. That was my walk and is still my walk. Keeping myself safe and free. Even when I almost have to laugh at myself. Even when I got my hopes up about some potential new romance. Keeping myself safe and free. So it tells me that I will probably never have a partner because I can't trust in it, and I can't sustain any more damage, you know. And the funny thing is, he was offering me cuddles, right? Do you know how wonderful it would be to have a man actually cuddle me without any sexual agenda, just to hold me and cherish me and respect me? Do you know how desirable that would be? And what did I say? I said, but cuddles invariably lead to sex. And I'm not having sex with a man unless I'm 100% certain that he truly, deeply loves me this time. You know, next time I meet someone decent and honourable. I'm not having it. I'm not doing it. It's not worth it to me. The in and outs and the blow and the goes and my wife, my other girlfriends, my mortgage, whatever fucked up excuse they make up in their head, my polyamory, my need to be cruel and sadistic and vapid like the last motherfucker, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If I have sex with a man, again, it's got to be real this time, and beautiful, and joyous, and heartfelt, and sincere, and authentic, and a little bit wild, because you want to have a little bit of fun, Don't want to lie back and think of Aussie and go, what the fuck was that? Like I did for 10.5 years, 12 years with my husband. What the fuck was that? What was it? Just another karmic curse rained down upon my head at the age of 17, unprotected and unloved, except ironically by his father, who paid for both my houses to be paid off. That was a real man that wanted me to be safe and prosperous and protected. Probably because deep down he knew his son was a dead fucking shit. But I have to let go of that because it's ancient history, and I actually healed from that divorce. I know I'm going on about it at the moment because I'm re-triggered. I'm reactivated a little bit because I've seen the potential of something lovely, and then I'm at the same time seeing the other potentiates of how how badly things can go wrong for me yet again, and I don't want that. It's taken me decades to heal. Decades to heal from the aftermath of my first and only marriage and the men that came after it. 25 years in therapy. And even my psychiatrist got very excited, hoping that I finally found someone lovely and genuine this time. And I've got people rooting for me, you know. Go Tanya, go Mama T, go. This might be a nice experience. And it very well might be. But not if they cut and run at the first. I haven't even done anything to make them cut and run, really. So no, it won't be. If I haven't done anything to cause that, then it wasn't. They're seeing other people, obviously. I'm not stupid. They're not genuine when they do that. But I'm grateful to this person that he made the effort to meet me in person, because that showed pure intent, or the illusion of pure intentions anyway. And it was actually my first date in well over 15, 20 years. So that's why I was nervous and anxious. So it was a good confidence boost, I suppose, that I did follow through and I did meet up with him, because that takes courage on my part after not meeting up with anybody. Certainly someone I didn't even know really what they looked like. It was a bit unusual that I put that level of trust into it. I don't normally do that. So anyway, I'm going to stop now. I wanted to do my reading from today, but I've raved on about this man. So he's already clawed himself under my skin, writhing under me, has me thinking about him and already analysing how things went bad so early in the piece. And that's not good for me. It should have been open-hearted and sweet and endearing, and it should have moved organically, step by step, to, okay, well, we've met now, would you like to go out somewhere else, would you like to do that? And I'm not fooled by the fact that it's fallen flat already. I'm not fooled by that. So we'll let that go. We'll let it go, you know. But I'm grateful for, I want to cry. I'm grateful for the level of attention, for the offer to make write songs from my writings, because it was a bit of an ego boost. But as my beautiful friend Margaret, who I've known since I was 9 years old when I migrated to Melbourne, said to me, she said, how wonderful, a man that values your words, a man that, sees you, a man that honours you. She got terribly excited. She's Croatian. Her mother was Croatian. Her mother was a very good coffee reader and psychic, and used to read my mother's and my coffee grounds, you know, when I was a child. So she got terribly excited for me, because she knows how very long it has been for me to open my heart up to the potential of love. I've been closed down like the Titanic, buried under the depths of the sea, flooded in the underworld for decades. She knows. She knows that was an act of heart and courage on my part, and also stupidity and naivete, because we are nothing without our little forays into human desire and interactions. It's a sword of Damocles that cuts both ways. The folly and the vulnerability, which in my body, mind and spirit that folly and vulnerability is sometimes my greatest gift because I can conflagrate it, like the bush that could not be consumed by fire that appeared to Moses. I can bloom my power manifest in a millisecond, which makes me both terrifying and awesome. So on that note, there's my womanly progression on this planet. May we both be blessed by the gods of our understanding with our truest, greatest love and our most powerful, heartfelt partnerships. Let go, let God. God's bless, people of earth. I love you. Bye for now.